So now I'll switch to English. Omegawave is a Finnish company based in Finland, in Espoo. I've been living in Finland for 14 years. Now I live in the US, establishing the company in the United States, in California. And what we do, let's see if this works now. Yeah. What we do is help the best in the world get better. We provide technology for sports institutions, military installations, any sort of performance, high performance units to become better at what they do. In here you'll see a comment from Ajax. They have been national champions for many, many years in Holland. We have the Seattle Seahawks, our customers. They won the Super Bowl last year. We have basketball in the NBA. The LA Kings, NHL champions, are our customers. Navy SEALs are our customers. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Milan, all the top sports teams and organizations in the world use our system. And one of the things that we try to do is not replace what they do, not replace the coach or their methodologies. We provide knowledge for them to make better decisions and to train their athletes to a higher level. So we do not replace, we just enhance what they already know. The typical approach for training goes like this. So first you have genetics. If you have good parents, you have good genetics. End of story. If you win the lottery, that's it. You cannot change those, at least not yet. Then you have the athlete. The athlete in itself is taking all the stress from sports or their knowledge in the sport and combine that with their genetics, and that makes up an athlete. So obviously, if you don't train, you don't become an athlete. So that's the second part. The third part is the training process. It's exactly what the coach tells the athlete what to do, when to do it, what to eat, what to drink. Gatorade, in that sense, is involved in that part. And at the end of the day, you get a result. The typical approach is that you see the results, and then you change the training process to better the results. But we all know that that doesn't work all the time. An athlete can go through a training session and come out of the other side very good, in a better shape. Then you come next week, you do the same session, and the athlete gets hurt. Why? Because the athlete changed. It's a different person than it was last week, last month, last year. So you cannot expect the athlete to adapt to the same stimuli, the same stress, day after day. You have to know how the athlete is adapting to what you're giving it. So our approach is to actually manage the athlete. See what the athlete is feeling, the stress that the athlete is having in their body, how they're adapting to the stress, modify the training process, see how the athlete is adapting to that, and hopefully that will lead to a better result at the end, with a healthier athlete that can have a longer lifespan in their sport. So I'm going to spend a few minutes in this slide because it's very complex. So this is our methodology. First, you'll see loads. Loads is the exercise that the athlete is doing, whether that's volume or intensity, how many hours you're doing, how hard you're doing it. This is the day in and day out work of the athlete. Hopefully, when you do a training session, you will positively adapt, so you will become a better athlete, which will increase your preparedness. It will make you a better athlete. The preparedness curve is the red curve over there. The preparedness is involved with your skills, your tactical, mental, physical, anything that revolves around your sport. It's what makes you an athlete. In the case of Patrick, is his technique to row, the lung capacity, his muscles capacity to propel him towards the finish line faster. So during the season, Patrick is training and hopefully becoming faster and faster and faster, and then reaching the Olympics. Ideally, he reached the Olympics in a healthy, non-injured way, but that's not always the case. Sometimes the cost of training is too high for the body to adapt, and eventually it'll break down. So that injury happens. whether it's his back, his legs, or just, total exhaustion, overtraining. So that happens when the cost of adaptation, which is physiological, is too great, too much. And we see it all the time in NFL, NBA, in Mexican football. Athletes are pushed and pushed and pushed, and eventually they break, and they have to spend 2 months in the bench while they pay their salaries. So there's a lot of investment on the line from teams to keep their athletes healthy as possible, to keep them on the pitch. Some athletes are more expensive than others, but still, the most expensive ones are the biggest investment. And what we measure is what we call readiness, which is physiological and psychological. It means that whether you are ready or not to perform at your peak capacity. And that readiness varies every day. I think you all feel like that. Sometimes when you suddenly, one day you wake up and then you just stumble because your foot is moving in the wrong direction because your brain is not communicating correct, or you fumble with the knives and forks and you drop. You have those days when your brain is not sending the right signals to the rest of your body. And there are days where you feel like Superman. That is what changes every day. So we tell you how ready you are to perform and to train. So if we take two different teams, and we see this all the time, from preseason to season, let's say that the preparedness curve for both teams is the same. Let's say Real Madrid against Barcelona. They are the best football clubs in the world. They can compete against each other any day. But if a team does not have Omegawave, does not manage their stress, does not manage their athletes properly, and they travel, they don't sleep, their nutrition is missing, their hydration is wrong, their readiness on competition day is not the best. But if you take a team that is using Omegawave, that is managing properly all the stress that the athletes are following to, and they move the roster around, they might be a better team on one specific day. This is why world champions don't win all the time. Sometimes they lose because they have an off day. So that happens in any sport, whether it be triathlon, cycling, football, soccer, whatever. There are days when a lesser athlete that has never performed well will win the world championship because he performed on the day. That's what we measure. That's what we help you achieve. How we do it? We focused on making our approach to collect data very easy and quick. You'll see here that's Cameron Vandenberg. He's South African, Olympic gold medal in breaststroke. You see he has two sensors. One is a chest strap that measures his heart and metabolic system, and the other one you'll see a funny electrode in his head and also in his hand. Well, you don't see it there, but that measures the central nervous system. So that tells us how the brain is activating the rest of your body, be that muscles, lungs, digestive system, everything that involves there. So the conventional feedback is typically very stressful. Let's say that you saw pictures from Gatorade that they put athletes with a gas mask on a bike, really hard working, see how much they sweat. They can't do that every day. You can't put an athlete through that battery of tests every day. So you cannot know whether what you're doing right now is working. You have to test the athlete again. And after 1 month, you say, like, well, this didn't work, so we need to try something else. Or 6 months, or 1 year, which is already too late. So our approach is to measure daily. Daily changes in the body allow you to specifically manage the training stimuli for that athlete. Of course, you have other things like subjective information of the athlete, like how did you sleep? Are you fighting at home? Do you have a new kid? All these different stress affect the athlete. Travel, time zone differences, everything. And our way of analyzing this is very non-stressful, non-invasive. So you have the sensors attached to your body. You lay down, and in 2 minutes, you get results on your cardiac stress, your mental stress, how ready your central nervous system is to execute, how your metabolic system is executing, whether it's aerobic or anaerobically dominant. So we get a lot of information that we can provide to the coaches they can make the right decision at the right time for their athlete. So they can expand their lifespan in the sport, and they can make them a better, healthier athlete. So the technology that we use is pervasive. Every one of you has a mobile phone. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel. So all you do is take your mobile phone with you. The sensors connect via Bluetooth to the mobile phone, and the mobile phone via 3G or Wi-Fi connects to our cloud. So our athlete system works on iPhone or Android. So any athlete or anywhere around the world that has an internet connection can use our system to connect to a coach, whether that coach is in Europe, Asia, or in Mexico. It doesn't matter. All the information that you take with you on the phone will be relayed via our cloud system to the coach in the computer or an iPad. And we can provide this system either locally. For example, the Philadelphia Eagles have 90 iPads in their facility. Each athlete has an own iPad and 2 sensors. They measure every day, and the coach, strength and conditioning coach, has their computer. And every time they measure, all the data is downloaded to their computer. But everyone is localized there, so that's not a big problem. However, the Seattle Seahawks have a consultant in Los Angeles. So how do you translate that data from Seattle to Los Angeles and back? So the athletes are measured in Seattle, they analyze there, consultant checks the data in Los Angeles and tells back to Seattle, okay, this is the way it works. Military personnel can be deployed in Afghanistan or any other part of the world, and the people that make the decisions who to deploy in the field, who to take back, are based in US. So all that information is relayed back and forth, and our cloud system allows us to really distribute the system wherever you are, as long as you have a internet connection. Of course, we also have offline systems, which are, let's say, much more expensive, that can be used anywhere in the world locally, so you don't need an internet connection for that. But the push from the technology side allows us to have that available anytime, anywhere. And as my last slide, I was supposed to do a demo, but I couldn't make it work. But if you do want a demo, I can show it to you outside. I have my mobile phone, I have my computer, so I'm happy to show it to you. This is how it looks. We have an iPad, the 2 sensors, and a mobile phone. So anything that you do with the mobile phone is relayed to the iPad for the coach, so you can have that direct communication with the coach. Last year, we won the Best Performance Technology for Elite Athletes award in England. And just 2 weeks ago, Under Armour had the Future Show. Over 100 companies competed in there, and we won. So we won a $50,000 check and a partnership with Under Armour. So that's something we are going to explore, and hopefully we'll have some fruits of that in the future. So with that, thank you for listening. Muchas gracias por su atención.